One of the timeless questions, of which there are several, is what am I doing here? What's the meaning of life? What's all this about? What's my purpose? What's going on? And I'd like to just explore that for a minute, because from my experience, the answer is right in front of your face. It's been there the entire time. And so the question for me is not what are the answers to those questions. My real question is, why aren't you looking at the answer that is right in front of your face? What is your resistance to actually having that answer? Because by applying very simple and minimal thought to that question, you will be able to answer it all by yourself. I'll give you an example. I'd like you to think about the point of life and the development and the linear development of life. Life in incarnating on this planet, incarnating wherever, however, whatever. What is the purpose if we are assuming that life is some sort of a continuum that we grow and develop? Let's flow with that for a moment, that we are here to learn and grow and develop and so forth. Well, let's follow that line to see where it goes. What are we developing into? What are we growing into? Where are we growing to? Where are we going as we learn and as we grow? Now, it's pretty consistent across most spiritual, religious and other related beliefs that we're going to God, that we're returning home, we're remerging with the self, with the universe, with the source of all that is, and so forth and so on. Most of us have a sense in our own language or form that we are going back to where we came from. Even the earth-based analogy says that from the dust we arise and back to the dust we go. Well, whether you're talking dust or God or whatever, we're all reasonably on the same page in terms of looking at that and answering that question. But we don't really think about it to any real level where we can see our own answer. So I want you to just consider that for a moment. Like, what is your answer? What is the point of all of this? We notice people that we might define as advanced, spiritually advanced, gurus, masters, whoever, people that we can see or feel or believe have achieved a state of self-realization, of awareness of God. They may perform miracles. They may be doing work that we recognize on some level as advanced spiritually. And so you might say that some of those things, some of those observations are part of what we notice about people that are developed or advancing. But is that the point? Is the point of learning in our earth space here just to get really good at tricks and to connect with God, and by virtue of that be quite natural in performing miracles and amazing feats and so forth? I would suggest to you that that is a byproduct of your connection to God. It is not the point or the purpose of you being here. You're not here to be tested to do really amazing stuff, and then when you can do that stuff you get to do whatever else and go wherever else. I don't think any of those things are really the point. So what is the point? Like, what is the point? Where are you really going? Do you believe that when you die that you just come back? A lot of people believe that. So if you believe that when you die you will reincarnate again, you will possibly also believe that we are here to learn, we are here to grow, and that is fantastic. So let's keep going with that for a moment. We reincarnate and so forth, learning and developing as we go. accruing and releasing karma, all of that sort of business. But push it further, go further than that. Do you think that you are meant to be in this incarnational cycle for all eternity? Do you think that's the idea? Like, have you been incarnating on Earth or incarnating in some form forever and will continue to do so forever? Do you believe that? Or do you believe that if we were to apply linear time and development to this thinking, that there is a culmination point of bypassing all of this stuff, of not needing to do it anymore, of finishing that? Is there an end point where you finally go home, return to God, return to Source, whatever, where you no longer do the incarnational dance? What do you believe? The purpose of life, the meaning behind life, is to really find the answer to that question. Because to find the answer for yourself is to reveal meaning. It is to unveil your purpose. It is to know these things without doubt. If you believe that in the longest period of time, over the longest cycle, that it is our function to return to Source, that it is our natural state to go home, to go back to God, whatever that is, then that is your purpose. That is your function. That is why you are here. That is what you are here to do. You are here to achieve that. You are here to go home. Now, we place many conditions upon our thinking as to why we can't do that right now, why I'm not ready, why I'm fearful, and so forth. But there's really no reason why you cannot move your life around that trajectory wholly and completely right now. We talk about God as if God is some separate entity, a separate being kind of over there, and it is something that we will reach, commune with, but it is something quite separate to us. And we rarely place God in our life full time. We rarely claim God as our life and give our life over 100% to Source, to God, to the purpose of fulfilling that end, to meeting that point. But if you are really over the idea of being aimless and meandering in this space, and you are ready to really get to the bottom of, what am I doing here? What is my purpose? What is my function? What is this all about? What is this about? What am I here to do? Then the answer to your question is in this very large question. It is the context for everything that you do. You may not even believe this, but it is the context for your presence here, full stop. Your answer to that question could potentially supersede your need for presence here. Consider this around the idea of purpose and around the idea of why am I here? What is the meaning of life? Perhaps the purpose, perhaps the meaning for you has been right in front of your face the entire time, but you are yet to align your entire being and life to that purpose, to set that purpose as your sole trajectory. Over enough time, this space will become boring. This space will lose its entertainment value, its engagement value, and sooner or later, in this life or the next, you will start turning back to God and back to Source when all else has run its course. This may take a short time or a long time. It may occur in this life, it may occur over many lives, but you will reach that point where you are done. You are done with this experience, knowing that it is not fulfilling you via the space of God and via the space of Source. Sooner or later, you will settle for nothing less than that and endeavour to make your whole life about that only. Where are you at with that right now? How much time each day do you truly give to God? Do you truly give to your highest function in returning or connecting your awareness to Source? How much practical time do you give that? What have you achieved or done in your life to aid you in orienting your trajectory or your connection to God? Sooner or later, it will become an overwhelming priority to you over everything else that you think is important in this space, and that can take as long as it takes. But I want you to consider, if you are in the space of questioning purpose, meaning and function, that this is the frame by which you may find your answer. And then the only step is to adjust your trajectory accordingly and to begin building yourself around that trajectory to the exclusion of all other distractions. Consider the question, how much presence do you allow God in your day-to-day life? How many minutes do you clock over in contemplation of your reconnection to Source and of your connection to God? Think about that. Blessings.